Hello and welcome to the Youth Sport Show Season 6. And we are here with lots of information for you and lots of things for you to learn. And I don't want to tell you who is coming in today. I think you know about it. But however, today is going to be an exciting day. And I promise it's going to be a very nice day. And there's not going to be any dull moment today. And we just go straight into the show while we invite our guests into the house. So welcome to the Youth Sports Show Season 6. Overcoming peer pressure. I do hope that you're going to have a very good time with us today. So if you're a young person, then just draw closer and begin to drop your messages and let us know what you think about it. I want you to participate actively in today's episode of the Youth Sports Show, and take notes and also ask questions and don't just listen and don't just watch, don't just look. You just have to take part and make sure that you are getting the very best from the show today. And I do trust that God will help you to get the very best. And usually before I start with prayers. And I'm going to pray. Father, thank you for this show. I dedicate this show to you. I pray that your presence will come and take control as we start with us. In Jesus' name, amen. So let's go in and then we start the show together. And before we start the show, I want to play the music I want to play an advert before I invite the guests into the house.
With a blurred vision for the future. And the millions of people, especially the youths, live hopelessly with a blurred vision for the future. In the midst of this chaos comes a great light to brighten the pathway. This is Testimunhas, an organization that has transformed the lives of many youth through practical coaching by professionals. Amazingly, when the Earth's foundation was shaken by the coronavirus pandemic, Testimunhas became the pillar for young people to hold on to by birthing the Transformation Challenge and Mobile Power Challenge groups to offer free trainings to young people. From it also emerged other subgroups like Question Writers, T-Library to redirect the thoughts of members. Testimunhas has become everything in one. The light, the pathway, the pillar, the transformer. Find us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Join us today and share testimony tomorrow. Testimunhas, witness transformation.
Hello, so we're going back to the show now, and in the house today, I have a guest in the house today. And look at the beautiful guest we have today in the house today. It's going to teach us something very interesting. And I'll be working with Christiana in the background in the TeensWorld, and we've been doing some things in the background. So I thought, okay, fine, we can come and talk about it, to see what actually you've been doing, and also to share ideas with young people to help young people overcome peer pressure. And so in the house today, I have Christiana Ubengama with us today. And then we're supposed to have Olomu Michael in the house as well, but Olomu Michael is unavoidably absent today because of other engagements and that came up at the dying minute. And these are very urgent things that he couldn't just ignore. And so we permitted him to be away briefly for today, and do hoping that in the future we'll have that opportunity to bring Olomu Michael back to the show again. So he will have that opportunity to share with you and also give to you the bits that he would have given you today. So welcome to the show. But I just promise you that today is going to be a very great time, and there's no dull moment in the house today, because we're having something very interesting to discuss, and that is peer pressure. And we have our guests here today, so we're going to have a very exciting time. And so I wanted to enjoy yourself. I wanted to be the best that you can be today. And as you're there, you're hearing me and you're watching me, I wanted to comment. I wanted to take active part and also ask questions. We will be here to answer your questions. Maybe by the end of the show, we will come back and ask the question. And do also stay in touch. Remember to join us on all our social media handles and be sure that you are getting the very best from the Youth Sports Show. And tell your friends about the Youth Sports Show and you get the best. So back to you, Christiana. Sorry I kept you waiting. And I just said again, Christiana is the founder of the TeensWorld. And if you check out the YouTube, the TeensWorld is an amazing group that is an amazing organization that is there to help young people achieve a brighter future by staying focused in what they're doing. And she's focusing mainly on teenagers. So Christiana, do you want to tell us a little about yourself?
Okay, my name is Christiana Ubengama. I'm the founder of TeensWorld, and this TeensWorld is the main aim of TeensWorld is to educate young people, also to educate parents as well on the challenges young people face, and also to talk to young people on and to build their self-confidence as they interact with the immediate environment, as they go out there to meet other people. So that is the main aim of Teens World. So my name, like I said, my name is Christiana Ubengama.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for that quick introduction about the organization. But anyway, Christina, usually when people come to the show, I try to tell them a little about what we do because you have a few activities today. And today we're not going to be a lot of activities for you because we're going to exclude the Mobile Power Challenge activities because we are having an award night for them or award day. There's soon to be an award event for them, which is not going to be part of this. So that will come after my show with you. And then that will come after that. And so I don't want to give you so much trouble in that. So we won't go to the Mobile Power Challenge today. But however, we're still going to do a bit more, and we're going to do the success stories. We're going to also do a book review as well as on the show. We do the same, those two, before we move into the actual discussion for the day. And without any waste of time, I want us to go straight to the book review. And today's book review was sent to us again, as usual, from one of us at the Testimunhas, and it's called A Dream Seed by Mike Murdock. Anyone in the world that is reading books and motivational should know Mike Murdock. Mike Murdock is a preacher and also a speaker and a very great personality when it has to do with giving out wise words. So this book points to the fact that God begins any miracle in one's life with a seed, bringing an invisible idea into the form of a visible blessing. The book focuses on helping the reader discover how to concentrate on watering and nurturing the growth of one's dream seed until the goal is attained, and also helps the reader understand the various steps to increasing the faith and to wake their greatness within. So we have an important book there by Mike Murdock, Dream Seed. So we have some wisdom nuggets or wise nuggets or important quotes in the book that will help you to nurture your dream to success. As if a young person out there, you're struggling to see how to get yourself out there, to stay committed, to stay focused. I'm recommending this book and for you so that you can use it to stay committed. I'm recommending this Dream Seed for you and the Dream Seed so you can stay, nurture your ideas and stay on the growth, because if you don't read, it's a readers are leaders. So if you're not going to read, you're going to follow people all the days of your life. And even following people, you can be even a problematic follower because you wouldn't know what to do. And so today is an exciting day, and I do hope that you're going to find that book in the bookstore and you read it, and you can borrow it if you cannot buy it. And before we continue, I want to, do a little more advert before we continue and see where what we can gain again from Testimunhas. And Testimunhas is a group here for young people. So we've been building Testimunhas for over the years, and but eventually we came up to show up what we are doing on the Facebook and the social media during the lockdown. So in this video, I will tell you a little about Testimunhas. So I welcome you to Testimunhas.
Welcome to Testimunhas.
So we're just trying to set the video up, and soon you will have it. You see it clearly. And we'll just give you a little information about Testimunhas. So, happy viewing.
Our mission. We are set to transform the lives of millions of young people in the world by helping them to stay focused in the midst of chaos they may be facing. Our transformational avenues are practical coaching, skill acquisition, friendly mentoring, mindful redirection of thought. We run regular trainings via our social media handles. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. If you are a young person, we have thousands of trusted coaches and mentors from around the world who are ready to walk you through whatever stage of life you may be in right now. Be a part of the Youth Spot Show every Sunday by 7:30 p.m. on the Testimunhas Facebook page and the Transformation Challenge group. Join us today and witness the transformation that other young persons are talking about. Testimunhas, witness transformation.
So that's a little we can tell you about Testimunhas. And so you can find us on social media, and we have a website that's coming. We have a lot of things that we are doing in the background, so we don't want to tell you everything that we are doing. Until we finish it, we'll show to you one at a time, but we are actually doing massive work in the background. We are hoping that you will benefit immensely from that project. So the next item in the show today is the success story. Every day in the show, we review one story of someone who took a good journey and also came out successful despite many trials and despite many difficulties in the way. And so in today's success stories, I will be sharing with you an interesting story that was sent to me by the Testimunhas team, and that is Tina Fey, the golden actress. Tina Fey, the golden actress, and this story was sent in. And so I'll quickly go, to give just a brief information about this person, and you will learn a lot about this person. She was born in 18th of May 1970 in Philadelphia. Her father, Donald Henry Fey, was a university grant proposal writer, and her mother, Zenobia, is into brokerage. I studied in Caddington Stonehurst Elementary and Beverly Hill Middle School. She was an honor student at Upper Darby High School, studied acting and playwriting at the University of Virginia. Started her career and was also selected to write the scripts for different shows. She was the first female to be appointed as the SNL head writer in 1999. She won different awards and for writing outstanding music and comedy. Tina Fey creates the 30 Rock browsing video. The premiere episode garnered the highest series rating and bagged the Emmy Award in 2007 in the category of Outstanding Comedy Series. She started producing shows, got an award for the Best Actress in the Comedy Series. Baby Mama, one of Fey's movies, made approximately $86 million at the box office. She appeared in several American commercials. She also supported several charitable causes, especially Mutism Speaks and Mercy Corps. She featured on Forbes' yearly list of celebrities for 5 consecutive years, and at times she rated 33 among New York 50 most powerful personalities. So we see here, and this is a story for every young girl out there, every young person out there, that if you set your mind to do anything, you can actually do it. Just like Christina, today we'll be talking about the peer pressure and how peer pressure has helped has made a lot of young people to miss out of the way. And so today we'll be looking at that in light with what we've learned today, the book review, and as well the person that we have reviewed today, to see what messages or what message that we can gain from these prominent people or people who have gone through stages of changes in their lives. And today they are being celebrated. Celebration doesn't come overnight. It takes a while for people to be celebrated. So over to you, Christina. So did you like that story? Did you like the story of Tina Fey?
Yes, I love it.
Do you want to add anything? Do you want what inspired you about the story of that young woman? Have we lost you?
I love the story.
Okay, thank you very much. I just thought you had something to add there, so for any young person out there to to learn as well. And so for me here, I just believe that if you set your mind to do anything, the background does not matter. The location where you come from does not matter. Everything that you have begins in the mind, and from the mind, the life begins, and after that, nowhere else. So when you just decide to do a thing, just go ahead and do it. It may be wrong, it may be right, it may be difficult, it may be anything, but make sure that you are doing what you think is right in the mind.
And also believe in yourself.
And also believe
also believe in yourself.
Yeah. So you could imagine that if she did not believe in herself, she would just be walking away and I say, following everyone's thing, or this is happening, so everyone runs down there to do it. But today we're not raising young people who are following the crowd. We are raising young people who should become pace setters, people who will lead the world tomorrow, because we're not looking at today only, we are looking at tomorrow and years to come in the future. Some adults, they just having short-term goals because they are approaching their grave. Maybe someone is at 60 or 80 or maybe 90. 60 is still a young person anyways. So 90, let's say 90 people are 70, 80, 90. They are already having short-term goals because they know that their time is short. But for you, a young person who is having many years ahead of you, it's time for you to get yourself up and then be inspired by these names and these stories that we are sharing with you. And then you will get there. So before we get into the main discussion today, and again, my sincere apologies for those of you who are joining us late and you're not seeing Michael Olomu here. I already mentioned that Michael Olomu is not here with us because of some logistics, some emergencies that he couldn't escape, and he had to excuse him so that we can still continue with the show. I'm still believing that in the future will create another opportunity for Olomu Michael to join us in the show today. And in that day, that time. And so, but since he's not here today, we hope that at some other time we'll create the opportunity for him to join us. So hopefully you're going to get the very best from us today in this show. And before we get into the show, I just want to tell you one more thing about Testimunhas, and then we get into the discussion of peer pressure. I don't know who is suffering from peer pressure there, who is trying to escape it. But today, I'm going to share something very interesting with you. But before I share that with you, I want you to join us as I share this little information about Testimunhas, and so you can know more about what we do and what we don't do. And so I'll play this just in case you are just joining us now.
Millions of people, especially.
So the advert's coming up in a few minutes, in a seconds.
Millions of people, especially the youths, live hopelessly with a blurred vision for the future. In the midst of this chaos comes a great light to brighten the pathway. This is Testimunhas, an organization that has transformed the lives of many youth through practical coaching by professionals. Amazingly, when the Earth's foundation was shaken by the coronavirus pandemic, Testimunhas became the pillar for young people to hold on to by birthing the Transformation Challenge and Mobile Power Challenge groups to offer free trainings to young people. From it also emerged other subgroups like question writers, tea library to redirect the thoughts of members. Testimunhas has become everything in one. The light, the pathway, the pillar, the transformer. Find us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Join us today and share the testimony tomorrow. Testimunhas, witness transformation.
So thank you very much for staying with us in this show today. And that's Testimunhas. And we always, changing and doing things. We have a lot of young people working with us from different parts of the world. The interesting thing about Testimunhas, as you know, my name is Edet Otu, and I am the host of Testimunhas and also the host of the Youth Sports Show. So I founded Testimunhas not because I wanted to, make some money from a lot of people. It was driven out of the passion, to reach out to young people out there, maybe who may have been left out by the government, left out by the family, left out by the society. So I stand in between that in the gap to bridge children with their parents, children with the government, children with the society, and these young people that are out there who don't know where to go. So I stay in between to help them, connect back to their origin and also have a focused future. And so I have a PhD in geomatics, but my PhD in geomatics, this is not geomatics. So, but however, geomatics is a career, but this is my calling, and this is what I love to do. I've been developing young people right from even when I was a teenager myself. So it's a long time now. I've been working with young people internationally. I've worked with young people in Nigeria. I've worked with young people in the UK. And so if you're out there and you have a young person that you're struggling with, you're trying to have that, show that young person the way, and it's becoming very difficult for you, and you don't actually know what to do, I recommend Testimunhas to you. Just inbox us, send us messages, and tell us situation, and we will be in touch. We'll work with you. We'll not take over the job from you anyway. We'll work with you to, to help achieve that particular goal and purpose that you want for that young person. So welcome to the show again. And so I have Christiana Ubengama in the house today, the host and the founder of TeensWorld, and we'll be discussing overcoming peer pressure. So Christina, in the background, we did talk about peer pressure to be a serious problem with young people, and a lot of young people are struggling with peer pressure. So just in periphery, just a little, let me say, on the surface, just on the surface, just tell us what your thoughts about peer pressure.
Okay, so today we'll be talking about overcoming peer pressure. And before, many people have been hearing of peer pressure. Peer pressure is better we really understand the meaning of peer pressure. And one thing we are going to understand first the meaning of peer pressure before we can know how to like overcome the negative. Because when they are talking about peer pressure here, we have the negative peer pressure and we also have the positive. So peer pressure on itself is conforming to another person's behavior, being influenced by positively, it can be positive, it can be negative, by another person's peer group. So that is the first thing we should know, that peer pressure is just an influence, that you're not doing the things you're supposed to do. You're just carried away by another person's behavior, another person's character, and another person's ways of life. So peer pressure on its own can be positive and can be negative. So that's the first point we should know.
Thank you very much about that. So do you have more to add? But we'll still come back to you. But before we come back, I'll come back to you. But for you out there, you may be thinking, what is peer pressure? Is it okay for me to be amongst my friends? Is there anything wrong in having a friend and thinking like my friend, going out with my friend and doing whatever I want to do with my friend? Could there be anything ever wrong with that? Obviously, there's nothing wrong in having friends. So when we talk about peer pressure, we're not talking about having friends as a problem. Having a friend is good. So it's good to have friends. So I encourage you to have friends, as many friends as you can have, and make sure you have a lot of friends. Well, so that we are talking about having friends that that push you into the direction that you wouldn't on your own naturally go. And the peer pressure that we talk about, just as you heard from Christina there, it's not all about, in the negative way, pushing people to do evil. But sometimes peer pressure can push people to do the good that they're not supposed to do, and they will be going the wrong direction. So I'll go back to Christina again. And Christina, do you want to tell us why is a problem of peer pressure? Why do you think it's a problem? Okay, let's start. Why do you think peer pressure is a problem?
Yeah, peer pressure is a problem, like that has pushed many young people into the things that they don't supposed to do. For instance, alcoholism. Many people they wouldn't have go into that drinking or premarital sex and the rest of the thing. So when they will announce, it is a kind of problem because it has pushed many people into unprepared destiny.
Yeah.
It has marred many destinies. So it's a problem that is facing young people, that they have not come out to discover their people, their self first, but rather they want to go out there and copy what their peers are doing, conforming to their own behavior. So peer pressure is in fact is a contemporary problem that every human being, if you are not free from it, it can mar your destiny negatively.
Thank you very much. So peer pressure, just as Christina said, peer pressure is a serious problem. I went to the prison one day. The interesting thing we saw in the prison was that the prison wasn't a prison for older people, it was a prison of young people. Every prison in the world is a prison for young people. And I saw some of them who had went into different problems, different situations, and the rest of them. And one thing I wouldn't forget, I still remember the voice of that woman. She said, I came here when I was very young. I think she said she was 17 or whatever age that she said she went there, whether 17 or whatever. And she said she's been there for, is it 40 years? And there is no case, nothing, and everything was down. And they forgot about her. Doubt. I think maybe the family would have, maybe the family wouldn't even believe she's still alive. They would think she's dead by that time. And but she's actually suffering there because of not going the right path, not going the right direction can cost us a lot of things. And before we go into further discussion, I don't know, Christiana, what are the signs like parents could begin to look at? I don't know, is it sound clearer there? So we're going to look at the signs. What are the kind of signs that we can see to think, oh, my child is being influenced by an external body. My child is influenced by an external group. Like recently, I heard a story of a young boy who is in gang, and the police is already looking for him. He's gone to court. He's back. The police is taking him again and issues. And this is just one case of many cases in the world that's going on today. So, Bo, I think sometimes we miss the triggers, we miss the beginning point, the beginning of the problem. And so it ends up becoming a very massive problem because we miss the tiny bits, the triggers. We just miss that part that we would have fixed. And and over time, one became two, two became three, and four becomes five, and six, the way we're standing here and watching a very massive problem. So Christina, do you want to help us? Because there may be parents out there watching. How would a leader, maybe a Christian leader, a youth leader, know when a young person is beginning to be influenced by peers?
Okay, thank you. I think number one thing is to watch the child's behavior.
Yeah.
They should give a close watch to the child. And another thing is to give attention. We are in an era that parents are not really concerned about the welfare of their children.
Of course, parents have to make money.
Yeah, yes, I know they have to make money, but they also have to give the children the utmost priority as well because they are gifts from God. They also have to pay attention to them because even in the making of money, they can make money and then spend on the child, and the child will also fail them. That is one thing they should know. Like in also creating time and giving them attention to is very important. In so doing, you're now going to check the child's behavior, and they will begin to notice changes. And if they are so close to the child, I'm sure that the child will be discussing some of the things that he has gone out there. Maybe their friends is trying to lure them, to push them into one thing or the other. If they kind of have that very close relationship, a teenager or a young person will begin to confide in them about these issues of influence, especially the negative influence.
Thank you very much.
Just to create attention. Yeah.
Thank you very much. But the part that you've mentioned there that I think a lot of parents will struggle with is the area of talking about going to make money, and someone has to win the bread. Let's be sincere here. Someone has to win the bread. Someone has to bring the money home, and it has to be the parent that have to pay the bill. They have to pay the child's school fee. I know these days jobs are very difficult to come by, and so parents have to take a lot of jobs so they can afford expensive school fees, expensive clothing for the child, and some children can be very, very nasty sometimes. And they will be looking for the expensive thing, the beautiful name, Adidas and this Nike, and the likes of the expensive stuff that they will impose on their parents to buy for them. And so how can a parent, bridge this gap where he or she is watching the child and also, making the money to keep the family? I don't know if you have anything to add there to parents out there.
Yeah. One thing is that in everything we do, we have to strike a balance. It's very necessary. I'm not saying the parents should not work. The parents should work, but they should also have create time There should be a time that they should have a serious look into the child, relate with the child very well, and also find out and ask questions whether what is really going on, whether what the child is facing, the kind of friends, and to check the child's friends, the kind of friends the child is keeping. Because bad friends and bad communication corrupts good manner. They should find out the kind of friends they are keeping. In fact, they should even check the child, the phone, and every other thing. They should at least give this child. That is all what I'm saying. They should bridge this gap, and then strike a balance with their work as well as with taking care of the children in order to prevent them from being influenced negatively.
Thank you very much, Christina. You know, we talk about you've just mentioned something very critical there, and that has to do with the parents as well. I know parents creating the balance and also checking what children are doing and checking up to see whether there are changes. I know when I was a younger person and when I lived with my parent that time, when you leave your school bag at night, my dad will set the school bag. So if you have anything you want to hide from dad, don't put it in the school bag because dad will check it when you are asleep. And so usually we don't put anything in the school bag. So if there is any object of suspicion, anything you know that's going to bring problem to dad, or it's going to bring you into problem with dad, or you don't even try to put it in the school bag. So if kids are as smart as what we were in those times, and how will parents still find out that this is what the child is doing? And then secondly, also maybe I just add this, you know, those days, you know, parents could come up and talk to their children, you know, query their children, query the activities of their children, and tell their children, look, stop this you are doing, don't try it again. If not, we will definitely deal with you. But you can't do it again because it's called emotional abuse. It's called child abuse. There's now Child Right Act. These acts are given to empowering children, you know, to lead their parents, and the parents are now almost powerless. These acts, and the Child Right Act, the child law, and everything, they are very good in themselves to protect children from abuse. But sometimes it takes away this power of discipline from parents. So when we talk about the peer pressure, how can a parent still exercise this, you know, this right, this ability to, you know, to lead the child despite all these acts and laws and without having problem with the law? I don't know if you have any contributions, you know, to tell us.
Yeah, I have contribution to say. Another thing I failed to mention one thing which can also help, because like due to these laws and many other things, I think the parent, before everything, the parent should be able to build, to make the child see that he is very important, and to help build the child's confidence. You know, it's lack of self-confidence that always make young people to be easily influenced.
Yeah.
That they don't even believe in their self anymore. And they don't even, and there's another thing that I call inferiority complex.
That's a good one.
Whereby the child will now look down on himself or herself and think that he has nothing to offer. Therefore, when you now step out there and then you will now meet people, he will now look at himself, oh, I have nothing to offer. These are the people, these people are really classic, then I have to join them. So the parents needs to like speak into this and make the child to understand that what in fact is very important. In fact, what is nothing, in fact, is great, is better than any other person. That as it's going out, it should be educated, the child should be educated on things that is happening in the world. That there are people that can easily steal or make them to lose everything that they have ever prepared for. Even my general book, my very favorite book, says that the thief cometh not to steal, to kill, and to destroy. So a thief will not go to something that doesn't go to a house that doesn't have something. So we always go to a place that you know that place has something. So the parents should talk to this child and build up the self-confidence in the life of the child.
Thank you very much for that. And the parents have to talk to children, as you've heard there from Christiana. In case you're just joining us, Christiana is the founder of TeensWorld, and she'll be working in Nigeria. She's based in Nigeria. She's been working to, to help young people, like teenagers, to find directions. She's been working in schools. And Christina is a graduate, and she's giving all her time there in Abia State, Nigeria, and also reaching out to the whole world through her YouTube channel. And so if you can subscribe to TeensWorld on the YouTube channel, and also follow Christiana Ubengama on social media. And that would be very great, so that you can see a lot more of what she is doing. And so you did talk about parents. Back to you, Christina. Let's go back to discussion about it, because it's a very interesting topic for me. Peer pressure. I remember when my parents would say, "Oh, friend A." Let's look at this one in particular. Friend A, he said, "Look, when you return home with your friend," my parents said, "Look, no, I don't want to see this person in your house, in this house again." They will see the other one and say, "Okay, we like this other one." And they choose friends for us. So how do we strike a balance between parents choosing who our friends should be and allowing us to choose our friends? Because yes, we know there's peer pressure there. Yes, we know there is problem out there, but we still need to explore life. We don't just have to put ourselves in one direction, in one corner, and thinking, okay, I can have this friend because of this, because of what my parents, because some parents can be even, biased, maybe religiously biased, or culturally or racially biased. You can't have a black friend, you can't have someone from this other tribe as a friend, and they will hide it behind some cover of peer pressure and thinking that, oh, look, just to find a way to keep the child from what they think is wrong. So can you contribute a little to this?
Okay, what you're actually saying is very true. Now, if the parents are that biased, yes, most times, in fact, parents are always biased because they think maybe they are trying to protect their child. And another thing that they should also know, the child should know, number one thing is self-discovery and then purpose.
Yeah.
And then the kind of the value that the parent place on this child and what the child wants. So, and the goals of this child, because all these things will only lies on goals. When the child said, "Go, this is what I want. This is the best. I want to be the best. I want to be the best. I want to be the best." So, irrespective of what maybe the parent can be biased, the child should be able to know that this is what I want, and since mommy or daddy or the sponsor or the leader want the very best of me, and this kind of friend, no matter the religious background, no matter where they are coming from, at least I am benefiting from this friend of mine. So they should be able to talk to their parents politely, and the parents should be able to understand them that at that age they are liable to their choices, not for them to stand out to watch them. No, they should also be interested in who the child is aiming up to become.
Thank you very much, Christina. And you've heard that parents have to help children, the young people, to discover themselves, and self-discovery is very important. So I said last week, the very day I knew I had a plan to become a PhD, to get a PhD. I'm saying this with the best of my knowledge and this is true. I used to watch the road twice, very careful on the road before I cross. I didn't want anything in this life to come in between me getting my PhD. But anyways, I've got a PhD now, but I'm still very careful. I'm not joking with my life. So, and so how can parents, in a way, despite all these checks and balances and changes, how can they stay in between? You've talked about, helping children to find their direction. I've talked about, helping children to discover their purpose, and also staying away from bad friends. So how can parents inculcate this in a very nice way? How can we pass it in a nice way? For me, I came from a family that I had a dad and dad is my hero. He was if I ever had a motivational speech, it was my father. That was my motivational speaker. He used to say, try again, try again. You have not failed until you have stopped trying. I heard that first from my father before I saw it in the book. And so not every parent has this kind of ability. And so how do we drive this despite the circumstances? you could also remember that we're not just talking to literate parents only, we are talking to parents who may not have enough education or enough exposure. How can parents, children work with parents to, to win the battle of peer pressure? How can these two groups of people? I don't know if my question is a bit is straightforward. We're really struggling to form the question now. So, Christina, over to you.
Okay. I want to say that, we have been talking about parents have a whole lot of responsibility too, to also stand against negative peer pressure. So the parents, if it's not all the parents that they are like that's aware of all these things. Some people they just know how to take money for school fee, go do this. They may not even have time for all these things. So the young person out there, he's also have his own he have his own interest at heart, or he also is responsible to also know that this is the person I want to become. So he can also go on and study himself and begin to understand, know that he's the only person that he can become his or our own best friend, like advising our own self or advising himself. So the parents itself, if they don't have all this knowledge that we are saying, the child too, since he has come up to know about that there are people out there that can destroy his or her future, and he should be able to prepare his or her mind for it as he's going to go out.
Thank you.
And then we are
okay, go on. You can finish if you have any other things.
So we can address them. We can also talk to them about how they can overcome the issue of negative peer pressure.
Thank you very much. And so back again, now we talk about the peer pressure here, overcoming peer pressure, and we've seen the position of the parents, we see the position of the child, we see the position as well of the society, because there's an African proverb that says every child is raised by the community. The child does not belong to anyone. Parents are merely channels. So if you're out there in the community, you're an uncle, you're a neighbor, you're a friend, you have to give a helping hand to somebody out there. I was very happy the other day on Facebook. I saw some young people posting my name all over in one story that was going on Facebook, talking about me, how I supported them. I was proud of myself anyways. I was happy, at least I didn't waste my youthful years. Even though I was a youth myself then, I helped other young people to find direction. So as you are there, you don't have to be a parent. You can help a young person out there to overcome peer pressure. And so we talked about peer pressure here, and then you need to first of all discover that peer pressure is real. Peer pressure is real. It is a force that you don't want, but it's actually real. We talk about peer pressure, it's not just a young person's thing, especially with the help of the social media. A lot of people want to become like other people. We just want to follow this group because we think this group is succeeding. We want to follow this crowd because we think this crowd is succeeding. And then sometimes things turn the wrong direction and people get into crime, people get into gangs because you see the gang guys, they've got the money, they've got the power, they've got the influence. And so young people love influence, young people love power. Young people want to be in control of things. They've always wanted to and looking for that opportunity, the slightest opportunity to take control or seize power. And so when they see other people who are actually doing something that they've desired for so long to get into, that pushes them, they go all out into it. Typical example, some people who started from smoking to selling drugs. Just by joining a gang, a group of people who smoke to selling drugs and to buying guns and then shooting, and also as well killing themselves in the street. And this is a common problem back in Africa, when a lot of young people have joined gangs. And I don't know why gang has become a problem of the Black children, and the Black children all over. It's in America, in the US, they're all dying because of gang violence. And this is what we're coming out to say, please save your life because you have a future. And then when you discover that there's peer pressure out there, you need to seek in between. Think about it. What are you going to do about it? Christiana talked about the self-discovery, and then self-discovery is very important there. And then so you need to discover yourself, because when you know where you're going, you've already decided where you're not going. The first if you on, let's say today is the 22nd of August. So if you buy a ticket for Manchester from let's say a ticket from Manchester to Heathrow on the 22nd of August, you've already decided that you're not going to any other place on that date on that ticket. You've already decided it. So everything that's going to happen that date, on the date of that ticket, on the date that you have on the ticket, wherever it's going to happen, except you cancel your trip, it is destined that you're going to that direction. So the best way to overcome peer pressure, I think for me, is to just find a way to walk away from certain things. Just decide where you're going, and then you will get to destination. And then I'll come back to Christiana, and then we'll be rounding off in a few minutes. And Christiana, in conclusion, how can young people, in summary, overcome peer pressure? And peer pressure is a serious problem, and as we have seen. And so, how can they overcome it?
Okay. The first thing I'm going to say is that number one is to be your own best friend. Like, always remind yourself who you are and where you are going to, and that you have a very glorious, that you have something that another person doesn't have, that you are unique on your own. That's number one thing. No matter how you are and all those things, that you are important and you have something inside you that nobody else can have. And that is one of the things that I call self-discovery. You are unique. And you are not to be like anybody. Though you can have a good model, but you are not to be like anybody. You are to be who your creator wants you to be. That's the first thing. So the second ways of overcoming peer pressure is focus your attention on following your personal goals.
Yeah.
You have to set goals. If you don't have where you are going to, if you don't know where you are going to, then you may not even arrive at your destination. So you should know where you are going to, and you should face your head straight and achieve those goals. So that is the second one. The third one I'll say is evaluate your friendship.
Yeah.
You have to. It's good to be friendly, but you should select the people that comes into your life. It's not everybody. If you can't open your heart, cannot open your arms to everybody that comes across your way, just for people to say that you are a good person. No. It depends, because you have a dream, you have a goal. So you associate yourself with people of the same level with you, people that have value too, that also sees the best inside of you and also aiming at. So you have to also evaluate your friendship. Another thing is that you have to walk away. You walk away from places that they are pressurizing you. You should not go to a club when you know that you don't drink. Why will you go to a club when you know that you have never taken alcohol? When you go there, what will you expect? You should not go to a secret place that you know that, like a very quiet, this place, you know very well, if I go to this place, this might happen. Then you are going there. You should stay away from those areas, knowing too well that the pressure there is going to be high. You cannot just go to a club, then you sit down and put your hand. Your friends, they will say, you are not up to their standard, all those stuff. Are you going there to go and do or one thing? So they will like to talk you down. So you always remember that you are important and your life counts and you can make a difference in this world. So in so doing, you avoid the places you should go. You know that this place is going to cost you a whole lot. You should avoid those places of pressure. So find a friend who shares your values. I have said it. Then you also work on your own self, because we have what we call I can say is an indirect peer pressure. Like, you are not talking, nobody is luring you, but inside of you, you are looking at somebody, and then you are thinking inside of you that, okay, this person is better, I want to be like this. Nobody is talking to you, but you looking at somebody. Okay, I call it unspoken pressure. Nobody talks to you about it. You just stay on your own. You have a picture of maybe you watch on your Facebook page. Maybe you look at one unattainable beauty person. You want to be like that person. You want to buy that kind of shoe. You want to buy that kind of dress and many other things. So then you will go to you will think on doing one thing or the other that will get you that money, and you are under pressure. So pressure is not really inflate. Maybe looking at somebody else and try to be like that person, and the person have not actually lured you, babe, because you are looking at that person. You yourself, you should be able to know who you are and where you are going to. Then another thing I'm going to say finally is that you should be able to understand yourself.
Yes.
You should be able to. That is what I call self-awareness.
Yeah.
You should know what works for you. You should know what works for you. If there is one of the popular saying that says, if you break your principle, that is one of the greatest failure in life. So you should have your principle, what works for you. You cannot tell me, I'm working with bad friends. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Or maybe I'm watching, you just log into a site of pornography and say, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I know myself. No, you should be able to know that you are human and you have weaknesses. You should be able to work on yourself and also have a high emotional intelligence. You should work on your emotion. That means you know what works for you. You know how you feel when you work with those set of people. And you know what you feel when you look at this particular thing. And you also know what works for you when you go to that place, what might likely happen. So these are very
Thank you very much, Christina, for your great contributions. And the, she said so much, and I think maybe we have to review it over. But you spoke. You're an authority. You know what you're doing. So I like that. And so every other young person out there is listening to us. So we are still on the Youth Sports Show today, season 6, overcoming peer pressure. We're talking about how young people can overcome peer pressure, which is a major problem facing young people in the world today. And so we've delved into different areas: parent responsibility, the responsibility of the young person, and the responsibility of the society, responsibility of the community, responsibility of the church, responsibility of everyone, because a child belongs to the community, belongs to every one of us. If there is no future, if we don't raise the young people well, we will have a future of headache, because most of the problem crises in the world today are led by young people. So before I became who I am today, I was a teenager some time ago. And the only way I was able to overcome peer pressure was to hide in the church. And the church was my hiding place. And why did I say it was the hiding place? Most of the friends I had then, they were in the church. And I said it was difficult for us, to go into the wrong gang, the wrong group, because we tried to select a friendship or friends around the church circle or Christian circle, not just the people from my church, but the people who had the same values as myself, because I had a value, I knew where I was going, I knew my Christian values and my Christian beliefs, and so I could only choose friends that were within that values circle. And even within the church, there were people who were not sharing that circle, that values that I had. I always walk away from that friendship. I always stay away, even though in the same church, but we have nothing so close to do together. I did that as a deliberate attempt to stay away from whatever that would lead me into what I would not be comfortable with. And so I like to share my experience. It doesn't look like we fell from the skies. We did not experience peer pressure. There were pressures to do a lot of things. I was one of the victim of it, of which I joined a lot of young people to go and fight in the schools. I fought in school fights. I was there. I saw a lot of things that happened that I don't want to say them. But I woke up one day, I told myself, I said, look, if you continue like this, which nearly killed me. I told myself, if you continue this way, you are dead. You don't have a future, you don't have a destiny. And that day, after I received one deadly punch that nearly killed me, and people thought I was going to fall down that day and die. But I didn't fall. God just helped me. I ran away and I escaped. And that was it. And very importantly, you need to just find a way to get close to God. When we talk, people say, oh, God does this, do this. Oh, God, leave this God thing. Well, I know for me, I don't know where I would have been if not that I found God. My ways would be very terrible. I will not be speaking to you today. Just you will not see me. Today, I will be a dead person. Most of the people that were in the gang, in the group that I joined that time, they are dead. Some of them died. Some of them are in the prison. Some of them are somewhere. But somewhere along the line, when I didn't go very far, God just snatched me out of it before everything got into fire, and which they were, lots of them were destroyed. So stay away from them, and you will have opportunity to enjoy a longer life. And I want to share something with you, and this is from Mike Hardcastle. Mike Hardcastle in 2018 wrote a blog. And the blog says a trait that puts you at a higher risk of falling into peer pressure trap includes this. I'm going to mention them. One, low self-esteem. This, Christiana has mentioned a lot of this already, but just to remind you of them. Low self-esteem, lack of self-confidence, uncertainty about one's place within a given peer group, no personal interest exclusive of one's peer group, feeling isolated from peers or family, poor academic abilities or performances, fear of one's peers, lack of strong ties to friends and this time good friends, feelings that friends could turn on you, close bond with a bully. And so if you are struggling with any of these that I've mentioned, contact us immediately in Testimunhas, and we will be here to work you through whatever problem that you're going. Every day we answer questions to help young people find direction. And so it will be our desire, pleasure to help you and also signpost you to any way or any place that you can have such help that you want. So we've been discussing peer pressure here and how to overcome peer pressure. And we do hope that you're going to get the best from it. Usually before I end the presentation, I always read a verse in the Bible. I love the Bible so much because it's my biggest book. There is no book as good as the Bible. I'm a Christian and I'm proud to say I'm a Christian. I always love to be a Christian all the days of my life. And so just try it. If you don't want to try, just try. Just try. Maybe it may not be for you, but just give it a try first before you say it's not for you. And 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 33 says, I'm reading from the New International Version. It says, do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. Be not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. And so King James Version says, be not deceived. Evil company corrupts good habits. Don't be deceived. Evil company. No matter what a company may be, they say, show me your friend, I'll show you, I'll tell you whom you are. Birds of a feather, they flock together. So for you to try, if you want to become a doctor, work with doctors, people who are aspiring to become doctors. If you want to become a teacher, work with people who are aspiring or people who have a future. You don't work with those people like when in secondary school, we call them NFAs, no future ambition. These guys, they cause all the troubles and all the fighting everywhere. Don't be an NFA, no future ambition. Have a future ambition, have a future goal. There should be something that you're passionate about. There should be something that you are driving at, and then God will help you. Because if you don't have a goal, you wouldn't even know where you're going. And as well as parents out there, peer pressure, we talk about peer pressure. Parents have to come to that point where they have time for their children, no matter how difficult things may be. Even when you have to sleep, you have to take time off work. You need to do it, because if anything goes wrong with a child, trust me, you can bring all the money home and you will still not be happy. But let's find a way to create this time. I know some parents will say, look, you don't understand because you don't have a child yet, you don't understand what it means. Look, I've worked with young parents, with parents to help put children the right way for the past 20 years or thereabout. I've worked even when I was a teenager. So there's certain things we understand and we talk together, we get to see how things work, and parents adjust things. Though I was a teenager, I give advice to parents and they hear and they keep it. Some of these things I learned it from my parents. My dad was always coming home to talk sense into our heads and telling us the stories about life. He says, look, don't walk in the night is dangerous. And whenever even dad wants to counsel you, he doesn't shout. Trust me, he doesn't shout. He shouts only when he wants to discipline you. When he wants to give you counsel, he wakes you up at 3 a.m. and tells you, look, my son, the night is not good. You always come back at night. Don't come back again. If it's late, just stay wherever you are because you don't know who is in the streets. And that being a police officer, he knew the law, he knew the crime, he knew everything about staying safe. So he will bring all those police code and everything, and he will teach it to us on how to stay safe in the society. So as a parent, you may not have all these things, but you can read them. You may not be a police officer, but this information is really available to you on the internet. You can read about it, how to help your child stay away from peer pressure. And don't forget, as a child grows up to become a teenager, as they grow up, they start to feel identity, the need for an identity to identify with something that is theirs. Help them to identify with what is positive. The earlier you get in to fix the child's need for identity, the better it will be for the child. So I'll go back to Christiana and briefly in summary, just in a summary, you tell us a brief summary, what would you have finally to say to the young persons out there?
Okay, I would say in summary that be the best God wants you to be. Be the person God wants you to be. You have a great potential inside of you. So look within you, discover who you are, discover your purpose, and when you discover your purpose, go get it, and you'll be sure to succeed in life.
Thank you very much, Christiana. And know your purpose, know where you're going, and then I want to add this message: learn to take decision on your own, and decide, and decide to go to direction A when everyone is going to direction B. This was my secret. I remember one day we went to a wedding, a very fine wedding, and everybody was like, we are all going in suits. They were just went and dressed in suits, everyone. I thought at this wedding, I am coming, but I will come in my own way. That day, I wore t-shirts to the wedding. People talked. It was my way of finding myself. I wanted to wear t-shirt to the wedding, and they said it has to be a suit. This was a church. It was not any secret cult or anything, but I just said, no, I'm going to wear a t-shirt. And I wore that t-shirt there, and people respected me for having made decision. Even though some people were not happy with it, some people said, look, we believe you know what you are doing, and that is it. And that is it. Just decide, live your life, and believe in yourself. Self-esteem, work on yourself. When you have a goal, when you have ambition, and you're talking about it, self-esteem will not be a problem. Even when you don't have money, just talk about the money. And sometimes go and, it's like someone said, someone said on Facebook, if you're very poor and you don't have the money, go and price a car. Go and ask for the price of a car to show the poverty. And so you're not poor anyways. Well, what happens is that try to attempt the things that look impossible to you. And with that, you will stir up your self-esteem because you are doing something. So thank you very much, Christiana. Thank you for joining us today. And it's my desire that you made our time to be with us today in the Youth Sports Show. So we really appreciate you. We appreciate your time with us. And we do hope that I'm hoping that in the future, if we invite you, I hope if we invite you in the future, you'll be happy to join us again in the Youth Sports Show.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you very much. So that's Christiana Ubengama, the founder of the TeensWorld. And we have TeensWorld here with us in the house today to talk about the overcoming peer pressure. So we'll be ending the show at this time. And I always like to end it with a word of prayers. Father, thank you for helping us today. Thank you for your grace. Thank you for teaching us. Pray that you help every young person out there who's struggling with the problem of peer pressure to come out of it in Jesus' name. Bless them and strengthen them in Jesus' name. Any one of them that have missed the courage to come to Testimunhas to seek help, and those of them who are planning suicide, planning crime, robbery, Lord, touch them and let them not do it, and rescue them. Thank you, Lord, for answering my prayers. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Thank you very much. Do a very lovely week. And today is a nice day. And always come with us. Watch us every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. We will be here. And leave your comments, leave your questions. We'll be here to answer you. So we'll give you a little advert. And that will be the end of the show. We've come to the end of the show. So just if you're just here and we just wanted to, get to learn a little about the Testimunhas. Thank you very much, Christiana, for coming.
Millions of people, especially the youths, live hopelessly with a blurred vision for the future. In the midst of this chaos comes a great light to brighten the pathway. This is Testimunhas, an organization that has transformed the lives of many youth through practical coaching by professionals. Amazingly, when the Earth's foundation was shaken by the coronavirus pandemic, Testimunhas became the pillar for young people to hold on to by birthing the Transformation Challenge and Mobile Power Challenge groups to offer free trainings to young people. From it also emerged other subgroups like Quest Writers, Tea Library to redirect the thoughts of members. Testimunhas has become everything in one. The light, the pathway, the pillar, the transformer. Find us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Join us today and share the testimony tomorrow. Testimunhas, witness transformation.
Thank you very much for joining us today. This is me saying bye for now. Enjoy the rest of the week. Thank you, Christiana. Enjoy the rest of the week.
Bye.
Bye.